Hello everyone, welcome back to Taste and Platter. This is Anju. I hope you're all doing well. Today I am sharing the Mongolian beef recipe. Mongolian beef is one of the most popular Asian takeout dish and it's such an easy recipe. Once you try this at home, you will never buy this from restaurants again because it needs only 20 to 30 minutes to cook. Plus, it needs only very little or very few ingredients. As you know, the one thing that makes this dish so popular is the tender beef that is covered in sauce and that a little hint of a gingery taste. So I'm going to show you step-by-step instructions on how to make the restaurant style Mongolian beef at home. So keep on watching. Before I start, if this is the first time you're watching this channel, please do subscribe to my channel, like, comment and share, and also make sure to follow me on Instagram at Taste and Platter. If you like to watch this video in Malayalam, you can follow me on Instagram at tasteandplatter.malayalam and on YouTube at tasteandplatter.malayalam. So the very first or the time consuming step in this recipe is to marinate the beef, and the marination time is 10 to 20 minutes. So to the beef pieces we are adding 1 tablespoon of soya sauce, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1 teaspoon of sherry wine or Chinese cooking wine, and if you do not have it, you can add 1 teaspoon of regular vinegar, and then 1 tablespoon of corn flour or cornstarch. Also make sure to season the beef with a little bit of salt if needed, and then give it a good mix and leave it at room temperature or in the refrigerator for 10 to 20 minutes. The second step after marination is to cook the beef, and for this you can take a wok or a heavy bottom pan or a non-stick pan. Bring it to a medium heat and then add 1 teaspoon or to a tablespoon of sesame oil. As you know, in most Asian dishes they use sesame oil instead of regular oil. If you do not like the flavor of a sesame oil, feel free to use any mild oil, canola oil. You can even add olive oil or anything of your choice. So once the oil is at a medium heat, you're going to place the marinated beef and cook it on both sides until it's well cooked. Keep in mind these are very thin slices of beef, so it doesn't have much cooking time. Keep the heat to medium heat and cook the beef on both sides, stirring occasionally. Since we have a little bit of or 1 tablespoon of sesame oil already in the marinade, you do not have to add a lot of oil to fry the beef or to cook the beef. So make sure just cook it on medium heat, and if needed, depending on the pan that you're using, how much amount of beef that you're going to cook, if you need more oil, feel free to add, but otherwise keep it to this 2 tablespoons, 1 in the marinade and 1 which we added to the pan. Depending on the size of your cookware, I recommend you cook the beef in batches and you do not overcrowd, because we want the beef to be evenly cooked on both sides. And also if you add a lot of beef into the same pan, some pieces might be a little undercooked, some will be overcooked. So just to do it in batches if there is not enough space. Here I am cooking the beef in batches, and as they get cooked, I'll transfer it, after draining the oil, I'll transfer it to a clean plate. And while the beef is getting cooked or after it is done, you can start making the sauce for the beef. So for the sauce we need a chicken stock. If you have homemade chicken stock at home, you can add 2 tablespoons. If you do not, you can get the powder or the cubes from the store. And if you're using the powder, take around 1 teaspoon and dilute it with 2 tablespoons of water. If you're using the cubes, I recommend you add 1/3. And after that, we are going to add 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. You can use a brown sugar, dark brown sugar or light brown sugar, followed by 1 teaspoon of sherry wine, 1 teaspoon of soya sauce, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Here the measurements I'm giving you is for 1 pound of beef, depending on how many people you are going to serve this or how much quantity of beef that you are taking for the dish. Make sure to adjust the measurements. One thing that you have to be careful is do not add a lot of cornstarch, because even if the sauce look a little runny, as soon as we add it to the heated pan, it's going to thicken really quick. So there is a greater chance it can get burned. So if it is runny, that is perfectly fine. You just have to cook it a little longer. So once the sauce is ready, we are moving on to the final step where we are putting everything together. And for this, you can use the same pan you cooked the beef. If there is any leftover oil, you can use that oil to cook 1 tablespoon of chopped ginger and 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. If you do not have oil left, you can use 1 tablespoon of sesame oil or any mild oil as you prefer. Now, the only thing that we are going to add to this recipe for the heat is dried chilies, and for that I have taken 2 to 3 dried chilies, which is cut into halves. If you can find Thai red chilies which are dried, that would give a very nice flavor. And then followed by half cup of cubed onions. Cook it for 2 to 3 minutes, and then followed by 2 tablespoons of chopped green onions. Keep in mind we are doing everything on a medium heat, and after you saute this for 2 to 3 minutes, you can now start adding the sauce. When you add the sauce, make sure that you keep the heat on a medium to a low to a medium heat, and cook it along with the ginger, garlic and onions for almost a minute. And once you see that the sauce is getting thickened, and that's when you're going to add the cooked beef. Now regarding the consistency of the dish, you can customize it. If you like it dry, you can just to cook it longer. If you like it saucy, you can adjust the flame and bring it to a required consistency. You can even serve it as an appetizer if you make it too dry. I recommend the most flavorful, most enjoyable way of having this dish is to serve it with some kind of a plain rice, a jasmine rice or a brown rice, or basmati rice, and served along with it. So if you think that the dish is getting too dry, you can definitely add a little bit of hot or warm water and bring it to a required consistency. Or if you're cooking it and then serving it later for your guest, before you serve, you can add a little bit of water and just to heat it up and bring it to the required consistency and bring it to the table. As a final touch, garnish it with a lot of green onions, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It's such an easy, less time consuming recipe, very easy to make but delicious one. So give it a try, and if you try, take a picture and tag me on Instagram at Taste in a Platter. And again, if you like to watch this in Malayalam, you can follow me on Instagram and on YouTube at tasteinaplatter.malayalam. I personally serve this dish with along with some plain jasmine rice, and it was delicious. Kids loved it. I enjoyed it. So do give it a try again. Thanks for watching Taste in a Platter. Stay safe and stay tuned.